How's it going, everybody? Hey, KTM lovers, off-road guys, rejoice. We're doing a garage build. That's an off-road motorcycle, not a motocross bike. Holy bleep it out right here. Welcome in. This was RacerXOnline.com. I'm Kris Keefer, and we have a 2025 KTM 300 XC, and we are out what we call BFE. You guys know what that means, AKA the Southern California desert. It's summertime. We're going to go trail riding. We're going to talk about Brian Sheffer's garage build. This is his personal bike, what he wanted to do to go riding with his buddies. Winter is coming here in Southern California, so you know what that means, trail riding, having fun, hill climbs, drinking some beers with your buddy on the trail, and just having a great time. So we're going to talk about this beautiful orange machine right here, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, I got my guy here, Brian Sheffer. This is his steed. As we do on these garage builds, basically a lot of these garage builds come from the heart. So Brian here, he trail rides, he goes adventure riding with his buddies, but he wanted something smaller to go to a couple undisclosed places that we don't talk about in Southern California. So Brian, this is your 2025 KTM 300 XC. Tell us the reason why you chose this bike.
So I've been riding dual sports for many, many years. Had a lot of friends that changed over to 300. Most of them ride XCWs. I just had heard they're not as playful as a built-up 500, so I waited. Everybody's always telling me, ride it, ride it, ride it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to ride it. I'm just going to keep riding my bike. And then finally, a couple of my buddies got the XC model. I was forced, and I rode it and fell in love with it. It's super playful. And, you know, I used my plate and my light a couple times over the last several years, and I'm like, screw it.
Yep. And it's what's funny, we were talking about off camera, you ride an adventure bike, you get back on this, probably feels like an 85 to you.
It feels really small, really small.
All right, let's go from the front to back here, what you did. Now, the top of the show, we just talked about, you didn't do any engine work right now. You just wanted to ride this thing stock to see what it felt like and then put some accessories on it. So give us the reasons, what you started with, and then the reason why you actually put the stuff on.
From the ground up, we run Shinko tires, and so those are just kind of what I'm used to. So I put the 216 fatty on the front, 525 on the rear, and I'm running tubeless from New Tech.
Okay.
I've never run mooses. I know there's a lot of big fans out there, but for me, I've had really good luck with my other bikes, not my adventure bike, but my dual sports running tubeless. I love how you can adjust air pressure way down low when it's loose and when you're riding more technical stuff. Obviously, W wheels, they build the best. Haan hubs, Excel rims.
Yeah, it's nice that you went to an Excel rim and not A60s.
Yep.
A60s are pretty stiff. So going to a Haan hub, which probably is really durable. And for me, it doesn't have that rigidity like a Talon hub does. So
right.
That's one of the things that when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, that's a nice choice.
Yeah, I'm getting older. And
comfort is key then.
Yeah, comfort is key. My belly likes this a little bit smoother, softer ride. So
going with that, now that you said that your belly, so you said you went just with springs only on this, no valving at this time. So
springs only on the fork and shock. I just, like I said, similar to the motor. I just want to ride it, feel what I like, what I don't like, and then kind of go from there. I just didn't want to make a bunch of changes initially and then have really no base to go compare it to. So again, stock valving, just resprung for my
which is smart, guys. A lot of you guys out there, you get your brand new bike and you go revalve it. You don't even get to ride your stock stuff. Look, understood it's probably going to be soft if you're north of 190 pounds, but it's nice to get a feel of what you guys are purchasing out there. So if you can, break in your bike a little bit, stock. Obviously, we have some accessories on here, but in the world of like, hey, I'm just going to put some springs on it to match my weight, that is a smart idea. You don't need to valve it right away. Let's see if this works. It'll save you some money in the long run. XC360 mount.
Yep.
I tried that not too long ago. I was really impressed. Before I give my opinion, tell me the reason why you went there.
So I've never ridden with one. I've seen them. There's you know, I just see a lot of benefits. And going from a four-stroke to a two-stroke, a little bit more vibration, I'm like, you know what? I want to try it out. So far, I mean, we've just ridden out here a little bit. I love it.
Yep.
Love it.
And handguards?
Handguards, the Curbys.
ASV levers?
ASV levers, for sure.
Which is kind of nice. I don't have much experience with ASV, but you can adjust that just like the stock KTM levers. He likes his levers a little bit in. I threw it out a little bit. It took me about 10 seconds, which is pretty easy and nice. And then you wanted to put a headlight on here, so you did some stator work on this.
Correct. So Kris at MotoMinded is a friend of ours, and he builds kits for these bikes. So in order to run a light, which, like I said earlier, I've only really used my light in the pure darkness a couple times over many years. So this light's basically, if you get stranded, you're gonna have some light to get yourself home. In order to run a light and a fan, which I added to this bike does not come stock with a fan. I got a rewound Stator.
And who does the fan?
It's a Trail Tech fan.
Trail Tech fan, which is the same people that make the KTM accessory fan, so if you guys are wondering.
Yep. So, and I've got it hardwired into the battery, so when you hardwire it in, you can adjust the fan temperature at which it goes on, and out here in the California desert in the summertime, it's hot, so it's been going on multiple times already today.
Yeah, me and Simon were just doing some photos and some flybys here, and it kicked on a couple times and cooled down the bike pretty quick. I'd say it lasts maybe about 60 to 90 seconds, and it turns itself off, so that's pretty neat. Okay, moving on back. You got some covers, you got some shifters.
Yeah, so we've got Bulletproof Designs. They make a ton of stuff for these bikes. It's a lot of protection. These bikes stock come with several plastic protection items, and as you know, one tip over can ruin your day. Yep. This bike has linkage. XEW does not have linkage, so I've got a little protection down there for that. Shifter.
Which is kind of nice. It kind of coincides with the skid plate towards the linkage. And I never really witnessed a swing arm protector.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice though. You kind of pointed out where it bolts on.
Yeah. So these are pretty heavy duty. I've had a Curbys ones in the past. Nothing wrong with those. These are made by Crosslink components, and what I like about these is they actually hard mount to the chain adjusters in the rear of the swing arm. So the likelihood of this thing falling off on a ride and you not knowing it, and they're also pretty thick and beefy, so they can take a beating.
FMF fatty pipe. Then you got a 2.1 silencer. Seat Concept seat. I like Seat Concept's like material for their seat covers. It's not too aggressive where it's going to eat your ass up a little bit. So you guys know, you watch these videos, I talk about my ass a lot, how it just gets chafed, and this thing does not do that. So that is nice. And the overall Decal Works did a nice scheme on your bike. When I pulled up and looked at it, I go, we talked about it. Something about orange for me. I just really like it, and it just looks sexy.
Yep, I'm a fan myself. I figure with Halloween coming, you know, black and orange, right?
Yes.
Can't go wrong.
Just so for me, look at, I'm not out here all day riding this thing, but I've ridden a KTM 300XC many times. We're out here in my home trails in my backyard, so I feel really comfortable out here. I know where I'm going. So for me to test a motorcycle is pretty easy. Right away, look at, I don't have a lot of time on new tech stuff, but from what I've gathered compared to a bib moose, it just isn't as harsh and stiff when you get a bib. When you get a bib, sometimes they're really stiff, hard, and makes your suspension deflect. This stuff's really nice and supple. Don't have a lot of time on Shinko tires, but I tell you what, if I'm not bitching about tires in the first 5 minutes, then I feel like they're okay, and I haven't bitched about it yet, so that is a plus. And then what I told Brian, look, normally when I get on a KTM 300, it's meant for lugging. Like when we're out in the hills, cruising around, you want to be in third gear. This is what this bike does well. With the pipe, I think, this is my personal opinion, I think with the pipe and silencer, it wakes it up a little bit. He wanted to go the XC versus the XCW. I think this pipe and silencer, we do not have ECU mapping. He's going to do that here in the future, but there's enough excitement to keep this bike light. Look, I know it's a two-stroke. It's supposed to be light anyway, but in the world of two strokes that are supposed to be luggable, this bike has some snap, has some excitement, and then you can use third gear and you can lug around. In this video, you can hear my bike. I'm sure Simon has it on the Insta360. I'm just lugging it around. It's very loose and dry out here today, so it does that well. I rode a KX450 out here to do some of this, and I was like, holy hell, he's gonna beat me up. Then I get on this, it's like a Cadillac, easy to ride. So look at, Brian, I'm not a huge fan of two strokes, but every time I get on a 300 and go trail riding, I understand why guys ride them. Yep. So very easy, very fun to ride. So suspension for me is a little bit soft under load, but for Brian, it picks up all that small square edge stuff, the small rocks out here, it's very supple and easy to ride. What I told him too, the XC Gear 360 mount, I hate vibration. I'm really picky with vibration. KTMs normally vibrate, especially the 2-strokes. I would say it's 50% less with this mount on here, so I don't get a lot of feedback through my hands, which is key if you're doing a 4 to 5 hour trail ride with your buddies. All right, so some of these garage builds are expensive from the time you buy a bike and then you purchase all the stuff on the bike. You told me how much it costs, so where did you get the bike, and give me the total cost?
I got the bike from Eduardo down at Three Brothers. Love that guy, love Three Brothers. They gave me a great deal. 26s I knew were coming out. I didn't think there'd be a lot of change with all that's gone on with the brand. So I decided to go with the 25. I got a little bit better deal. And then if you total up all the upgrades on this bike alone, it's right at about 20 grand. So yeah, thank you, friends, and
20K.
Yeah.
Better have a good job. Better have a good job for
friends
20K.
And companies for,
and a
for
good
chipping
wife.
In. That's right. Well, she doesn't kind of know a lot.
Okay, got it. Don't watch this.
She noticed another orange bike, and I just told her it was friends.
It's a test bike.
Yeah, test bike.
Little bits and pieces that sprockets.
Sprockets. We DDC. We run those on our big bikes as well. Have never had any issues with them and love them. We run AXP skid plates. Love those. There's just a little bit more protection up here on the high end of things. The stock one, I'm sure would work for most people, but when you're bashing around and hitting
That's just a thick plastic.
Yep, just a thick plastic. And they've got one, for this bike that goes back and covers the linkage. I opted to go with a shorter one with the Bulletproof Designs linkage protector.
I was a KTM test rider in the early 2000s, and Chuck from Metal Tech did a bunch of stuff for us back then, so he looks like he's still around.
Still around, still doing it. Chuck's a great guy. So as soon as I got this thing, that was one of the first people I called, and I sent them off to Chuck, and we had a quick conversation. He fixed them up and sent them back to me, and I couldn't be more happy with those. Samco hoses, when you're out here pretty far from the truck a lot of times, and there's places, we always kind of joke about it, but there's places we go where if your bike breaks down,
you're SOL.
You are literally helicoptering it out.
Yeah.
You can't get it out with a vehicle, nothing. I always upgrade my bikes to Samco hoses just to have that little peace of mind that I'm not going to hopefully blow a radiator.
So for me, I think you hit the nail on the head here. Comfortable bike, easy to ride. You're going to have fun. He hasn't ridden that much. He's watched me ride this thing more than he's ridden it, so I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to go.
All good, all good. I was nervous. I was like, oh, you're going to ride it. Let's see what he thinks, so.
No, very fun bike. Kudos to KTM for making 2-strokes that are really fun to ride out here in the hills. And thanks, Brian, let me ride your bike. Not too many guys buy a new bike and let me ride it, so I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Look for more garage builds right here on RacerXOnline.com. 12 issues. Get a free gift. I don't know what it is. There's always something new going on over at RacerX. So subscribe to the magazine. You get to read stuff that you can't normally see online, so go check that out. And don't forget, we'll be back next month with another garage build. See you soon.